I'm gonna give it a few seconds for the mic to start picking up, but I'm so excited to be here to talk about this Sagittarius full moon. This is a really big one, y'all. The moon is in Sagittarius, and Sag is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is in Cancer right now, which rules the moon, so there is big mutual reception between these two planets. And Cancer is our deepest emotional spaces, our heart space. And Jupiter in Cancer for the last year has been really expanding our sensitivity in regards to what we desire for love, nurture, fulfillment, care, safety, all of those things, So now that we're coming up to this Sag full moon, there is a big shift in perspective, especially needed for us to continue to expand into something that's more authentic and something that is going to be fulfilling us on a deep level. So before we get into it, definitely give me a like if you like these types of videos. Subscribe if you want to follow for more in the future. Share this if you think it's meaningful. Comment your experience down below because this one, I'm sure, like so many people are really feeling this right now. And then lastly, I encourage you all to check out my Ko-Fi page. The link is going to be in the description. And there you can just see what I do. And you can also donate or tip me if you feel so inclined, if these messages are meaningful for you. Let me see. Before I want to get into this, is there anything else that I want to say? I don't want to belabor it because I tend to do that. But I kind of want to just get into it. We got the tarot message here, and then of course we got the Barbie Oracle and the animal spirit. So I am calling this video, "You Are Not Who You Thought You Were." And I don't want to put that forward in a existential, I don't know who I am way. But I think really what's coming up with this full moon is that we are expanding past a threshold of, I guess, possibility, especially within our self-concept and who we thought that we were or who we thought we could be. I really want to start off with the first cards. We have the Ten of Lanterns and the Page of Lanterns in the reverse. And then from my cards that I made, we have the Let's Face the Facts in the reverse, which is the Six of Swords in the reverse. This energy is so interesting to me because I feel like we're all at this threshold, right? We're about to transition into a new version of ourselves that we are not familiar with. And because we are so close to this kind of transition, the energy has been so much clinging to the old self, the old habits, the old desires. It feels like an inability to kind of let go of the certainty of lust, gratification, just the current way that we exist, or our current actions, the things that we kind of move forward with in regards to our kind of perception or concept of self. So what I mean by that is you have a vision for your life or what your life should be, and you want to hit these specific points. And we've been trying to do that, or we have been doing that, but it hasn't really gotten us to our true fulfillment or to our true desire. With the 10 of Wands, and 10s in general, they are the end of a cycle. But this Page of Wands in the reverse with this 10 of Wands feels like continuing to put your hand on the burner, even though you know it's gonna burn you. And part of the reason of that is this Six of Swords in the reverse, where, there is a unwillingness or an uncomfortability with looking at what is growing inside you as far as your emotional awareness and what you desire, deeply desire, rather than what you kind of been going for because you think that that is what you're supposed to want. There could be a narrative or story or belief system that we're working with that has been handed down to us through family or any type of external influence or pressure or conditioning. So this past year, Jupiter in Cancer has been expanding our emotional awareness, our emotional truth, and we're coming to a point where we can't ignore it anymore. You know, you can't not face the feelings that are building up within you of dissatisfaction. But also, like, being in this space where you know that you're ready to kind of let go of all of this energetic weight, this energetic burden, even though you're ready to let go of it, it feels like you can't stop like engaging with it or utilizing it to kind of temporarily like meet your needs. And the reason for that is because we don't really have a frame of context or a base point for the new version of self, right? We are transitioning into a new potential, expanding our emotional desires and emotional awareness. And it is taking us down a path that looks completely different than, you know, the kind of container that we've currently held for our concept of self and what we enjoy, what we desire, what our purpose is, what is our authentic expression, you know, creatively. And so, yeah, with this kind of Ten of Wands, like I said, and the Page of Wands in the reverse, like it feels like touching the burner over again just because you don't know what else to do. You have no idea how to kind of navigate this new perception, right? So I want to get into the next cards. We've got the Two of Flags, Two of Swords, and the Two of Chalices, which is the Two of Cups. This is coming up in addition to the I Want It All Empress card, right? So this kind of section, I'm really wanting to call it like contractions of desire, right? Because with the Empress, this is the energy of expansion. It's the energy of fertility, abundance, something that is wanting to be birthed, you know, a new sense of creation, right? I love that, you know, my kind of channeled message on this card is I want it all, because it feels like there is an emotional truth that is expanding, right? As far as what is resonant for us emotionally and what we desire for happiness, satisfaction, belonging, right? But with this Two of Swords, it's like you're fighting it back, you know? It's like saying a no to what is literally a felt yes, because whatever you are resonating with doesn't look like on the surface what you thought you were supposed to desire, or, you know, what you thought you were supposed to achieve, or what your, you know, current perspective or belief system defines as what is supposed to feel good or what is supposed to be resonant, you know? So it's such an interesting combination here with the Empress too, because this is such an embodied card. It really relates to the senses, like felt, like feeling, sight, hearing, taste, smell, those things, right? And so this type of like cognitive dissonance with what you are aligning with, and like fighting yourself logically because you could possibly be looking at this within a black and white perspective of like what is right versus what is wrong, you know, what you should be versus what you want to be, you know, those types of perspectives keep you from aligning with what just truly feels good and truly feels nurturing for you, or for us, I should say, right? And so, I don't know, it's just like this feeling of fighting what you want, you know? One of the thoughts that was coming in my head, I don't know where this reference is from, but, you know, I've heard it in the past where people were like, fight, 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 kiss, kiss, kiss. And that's what this is. It's like there's something in our current experience that we're really not necessarily attached to, but it really feels good for us, you know? And we're really expanding our emotional capacity for satisfaction and fulfillment in a way that, you know, kind of crosses this threshold of what we thought these things were supposed to look like, you know? And so it's like you're telling yourself no, even though your body and your heart is saying yes. And because of that, we're in this weird cognitive dissonance space where you're literally pushing away all the things that you desire and all the things that you want, you know? And part of that is also the reason why we continue to fall back on these old habits that we're actually tired of. You know, we actually want to let these fall away and just free up our energy, you know? The Ten of Wands, like that is that burnout type of energy. So it's like the way that you currently been going about, your life and trying to meet your desires, it's weighing on you because you are trying to make it all fit into this container that it's not supposed to fit into, like this image, you have this external image of what things are supposed to be, whether that image was given to you. Like I really feel like those ideas or perspectives, they were inherited or given to us, or reflected from a social standpoint. But the weird thing is, or the interesting thing is that in your current experience, you know, things outside of you might not be actively pushing forward this perspective, right? So you kind of have this box around what your life is supposed to look like or your desires are supposed to look like that was given to you. But at this moment, you might be the only one that is currently keeping yourself within this, you know? There is some type of past influence that is going on here that has shaped this perspective, but you're probably the only one that is continuing to hold on to it, even though you may have space now or opportunity now to fully embrace this part of self or fully embrace a more authentic desire or a more authentically resonating experience, whether, that is people or work or, whatever it is that you are trying to move into or you're being called to move into, but you're fighting yourself from just allowing yourself to expand into it and to almost like dissolve into this desire, you know. I have some notes that I wrote and just some questions that I wanted to put forward. So for this kind of section here, I wrote, what aspects of life feel good, but your mind tells you it's bad or wrong? And then I also wrote, where is your desire and capacity for joy, love, and fulfillment expanding in a way that conflicts with your current self-concepts or pillars of belief? Last thing is, are you expanding past a threshold you did not think was possible for you, right? So I want to get into these last few cards in this spread because this is really going to put forward that kind of concept of the threshold, right? Because we have the Child of Chalices in the reverse, and then we have the World in the reverse, right? For my cards, we got I'm in Here, Four of Cups, and then Skipping Stones in the reverse, Three of Wands in the reverse. So the way that they're laid out here, we've got the Page of Cups and the I'm in Here, Four of Cups on the same plane. And if you go to my website, by the way, you'll be able to see an image actually of the spread and then also some pictures of the channeled notes that I take for these readings. So the Page of Cups is really about becoming emotionally curious. And it's a page, so it's the lowest level of proficiency within the suit. And then the I'm in Here card, the Four of Cups is usually that card of feeling like you are on the outside of a social group or a community, or just desiring to have like a safe space where you're emotionally held and you're emotionally received, right? The Page of Cups is kind of like that bid for connection. It's that putting yourself out there vulnerably to see if there is emotional resonance in this space. But I really feel like this is an internal process, especially with this Page of Cups in the reverse. It could be a more internal situation where you're needing to get more curious about what is expanding inside you emotionally that, you're kind of having this cognitive dissonance around, but your heart may be telling you that it's actually something that's true and genuine for you. But if this is not an internal situation, this is about kind of wanting to find a space externally where you are received, supported, nurtured, cared for, and all of that, right? But hesitant to just put yourself out there. It's like you can see the possibility of having the community or the safe space, but you're just I don't want to say nervous. It's like nervous is not quite the word, but it's hesitant, because there is fear from the past kind of othering or not belonging, right? It feels like there is definitely a sensitivity in regards to like being perceived. With this world card and the skipping stones in the reverse, three of wands in the reverse, the world is the last of the major arcana, right? So that's closing out major karmic cycles, but in the reverse, it really feels like Groundhog Day. The world could also relate to literally kind of being perceived on a large scale, you know? So for some folks, this could be, a visibility wound as far as, wanting to put yourself out there in a particular vulnerable way and having fear or trauma or pain around that. And so instead of putting yourself out there, you just hold it back, and that causes you to continue the cycle, and not reach a certain dream, desire, or potential that you see ahead of you, But also, it could just be that, yeah, you are unwilling to cross this threshold of identity or self-concept, right? And because of that, you keep yourself stuck in the karmic cycles, and you keep your desires at a distance from you. There can also be this energy of, with this three of wands, like that's seeing potential, seeing opportunity ahead of you, and needing to, take action to get closer to that, right? When it's in the reverse, it's almost like you don't see the potential anymore, or there is some type of desire that you have, but as far as the viability of it and, it being largely or widely accepted or supported, it's like you feel like that's not possible. And so instead of even trying, you're just going to say, if I were this thing, or if I was to act in this way, I'll never be accepted. So it's best to stay within this kind of container where, you're engaging with all these things, but it's actually just burning you out. Like, it feels a little bit performative, because once again, there's that black and white perspective, or, belief patterns that tell you that you're supposed to be this, 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 and this. And you're trying so hard to be this, 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 and this. But the reality is that there is no kind of, I guess, what I'm trying to say is that everybody isn't meant to do the same thing or want the same thing, There's not a one-size-fits-all perspective or belief system in regards to living a beautiful, meaningful, fulfilling, deeply nurturing, and caring life. It's all subjective. It's all based off of what is in your heart, what you desire, and what makes you feel nurtured on a sustainable, like, deep level, right? So one of the other things that I wanted to put forward with this Page of Cups in the reverse and the World in the reverse is that, in this way that we're expanding and kind of wanting to move into an identity that is outside of a threshold that we've seen for ourselves, the reality of the situation is that you're not going to be received everywhere. But that's okay, because the people who do receive you is where the safe space is. It's where the love and the joy is. And so it doesn't matter, like, the places that don't accept you, because you're not going to be in those places. You know what I mean? You're not going to force yourself to stay in those things. You're going to continue to just align with the people, the situations that are resonant, the people and the situations that pour into you and make you feel good and make you feel safe and nurtured and loved and affirmed and held emotionally. And then you don't have to do this anymore, because you're not trying to fit happiness or joy or fulfillment or purpose or passion into a box, What if, like, these things are not even things that you like. They're not even things that you enjoy. And you're going to burn yourself out just to be accepted socially. I don't think social acceptance is worth not receiving all the things that make you happy on a deep level. You know, it's really about being fulfilled and continuing to put yourself in those spaces that are authentic and that are true for you. The other thing that I wanted to say about this is like, as far as your concept of self, I think a lot of people are trying to define themselves into a certain category as far as like identity, you know? And we're not meant to be stagnant in our identity. We're always going to keep growing as we have more experiences, and we're going to keep expanding as far as our capacity for love, joy, and happiness. And if you are afraid of that change and you're afraid of that expansion, you're just going to be stuck. You're just going to be unhappy. Like, we're not meant to be the same thing all the time. You know, the material kind of things in life, those have a time limit. They have an expiration date. But energy and love and passion, those things are eternal. You know, all right, sorry y'all, it cut out for a second. That seems to be the new thing that's happening. But I was saying that love, passion, happiness, joy, those things are eternal. They're never gonna go away. And so when the particular external circumstances that you thought were going to be, you know, there all the time, or that you thought were going to represent you and your desires, those things naturally are going to change, you know? You're not going to live in the same place all the time, or, I mean, some people do, but what I'm trying to say is that the material things don't last. They're meant to decay. They're meant to, you know, return back to source, and then they are rebuilt and rebirthed with new energy. And that is literally the same cycle that we go through as people, right? So, some other things that I wanted to say before we look at the oracle cards. Let's see. Yeah, I just get this really big feeling of like a fear of failure or not making it in regards to this version of self that you're expanding into. Or it's a fear of not being received or finding the spaces of love and belonging, you know? But I think that the faith is, I think that there's an aspect or a level of faith that is necessary for us to just go where the energy tells us to go, to just take a leap of faith in a direction that is resonant for you, even if it brings through this sense of uncertainty, right? Because as you continue to engage with this and develop a relationship with this new sense of self, you will find a new baseline. You will find new, I guess, pillars of belief that help hold you up and hold up like your sense of self. And it doesn't have to be stagnant. It could just be what it is in this moment, you know? I did have some notes from the Sag new moon that I wrote in December when we were in Sag season, and it's just so crazy how aligned these notes are. But one of the main things that I wanted to put forward is because we're having this full moon that is on the Sagittarius and Gemini axis. I consider Sag to be the sign that's like the fuck around and find out sign, and Gemini is a sign that is sorting through so many different like data points, right? One of the things that I wrote was taking a chance on inspiration that comes with a new belief, a new approach that requires an official shedding of an old mindset, which is exactly what is going on here. You know, this full moon that we're having is the culmination of this new moon energy that I put forward in that video. Lingering perspectives are challenged due to the growing need to know, the fuck around, find out Sagittarius energy. Trust that the skills and resources developed will sustain us as we embrace a new path and opportunity. So all the things that you've learned as far as cultivating like a sense of self and rhythms around that type of identity, you'll be able to do that again in this new aspect of self. You just have to allow the old things to fall away, and release those. Um, Finally allows old beliefs to be shed. New ways of thinking, new ways of taking action are available, right? Once again, that is this 10 of Wands and Page of Wands in the reverse type of energy. Ready to let go of these energetic burdens and these ways of, I guess, defining purpose and defining passion, and start over with something fresh. Okay, a new to you approach that has been available but not explored or embraced. A piece that felt like it didn't fit logically or practically and passed over many times. So by piece, I meant piece of information or kind of a piece or a resource or an external thing that fits into your desires energetically, but it doesn't quite look like what you thought it was supposed to look like, right? You've been passing over this thing, even though it feels right, but you've been telling yourself no. Flip that perspective and say yes, and see where that takes you, Let's see. It feels impulsive, but exciting or inspiring or aligned energetically. There are more notes there, but I'm going to leave it at that. Let's read the messages from the Oracle cards. And I always pull the Barbie card first. We got the Swan Lake Barbie. So let's see what she says. All right. Swan Lake Barbie. Barbie isn't just a doll, she's also a movie star. The Barbie animated movies are just as beloved as Barbie herself, and 2003's Barbie of Swan Lake is one of the most popular. It's about Odette, a young girl who has turned into a swan and must look within herself for the courage to save the enchanted kingdom and find her true love. The animated Barbie movies are all about the power of imagination, friendship, and believing in yourself. Reconnect with your imagination and remember how much fun daydreams can be. There's magic all around you if you only take a moment to look for it. Okay, so what I really love about this, it said, the story is about Odette, a young girl who has turned into a swan and must look within herself for the courage to save the enchanted kingdom and find her true love. And that's what's happening, right? We're being asked to look into ourselves to find your true love. What do you truly desire? What do you truly want? What is your heart calling you to expand into and to dissolve into and to mesh with? There are things right now that are in resonance that you just have to be brave enough to take a chance on, rather than fearing not being accepted or, being exiled or whatever. There's that vulnerability, not vulnerability, but the visibility wound, that really needs to be addressed. And by kind of just taking that chance and being curious and allowing yourself to surrender into the becoming what your heart desires and what it's calling you to do, like, you'll find that space. And just know that it's okay that you won't be received everywhere. You don't have to be. It doesn't matter where you're not received if you are completely just in love with where you currently are, Okay, so let's pull one from the animal spirit. So what animal spirit energy is relevant for us with the Sagittarius full moon? Any energy we need to know, be aware of, or possibly embody at this time? The wolf. So let's see what the wolf has to say. I feel like this card came out in a recent lunation video. But let's see. The wolf, it says, guardian of family and tribe, activism, ritual. The wolf's mission is to uphold the well being and longevity of the pack. Healthy wolf energy expresses itself through activism, mentorship, humanitarian efforts, or teaching religious or political studies. The wolf gets into trouble when it assumes every member of the tribe must follow suit. This includes children walking in their parents' footsteps. Although it would surely be uncomfortable at first, practicing tolerance helps balance out agitated wolf energy. Contemplate the following: embrace all, exclude none. When it's in balance, it's reliable, democratic, and fearless. When out of balance, it's judgmental and dominating. To bring into balance, practice letting go. Okay, practice letting go, especially that judgment, right? Because it was saying the wolf gets into trouble when it assumes every member of the tribe must follow suit. You've been trying to follow suit. You know what I mean? You've been trying to follow all the things that were placed onto you, but it just makes you hesitant. It makes you scared to not fit in to all of the pieces that you are expected to, you know? But yeah, that just diminishes your energy. Healthy wolf energy expresses itself through activism, mentorship, humanitarian efforts, or teaching religious or political studies. I think the point of right now is to break free of the kind of tribe mentality and be able to walk your own path and find a tribe that is created, you know, like like the concept of chosen family, rather than feeling like you have to fall in line to be accepted, because that's not true. It's just not. And you'll find the places where you belong if you are willing to choose yourself in that way and allow yourself to embrace all of yourself and exclude none of yourself. So before we close out, I wanted to put forward some songs that I channeled for the Sag new moon energy in December, because they're still really relevant now. And I just am telling you, if you guys listen to any of these songs, you will find your experience in the energy currently, you know? So there are two albums, both by Paramore. One is Brand New Eyes, and the other is After Laughter. So from Brand New Eyes, the entire album, I promise you, you'll find something that is resonating with what you're experiencing at this moment. But the main song that is coming through is Turn It Off by Paramore. I'm telling you, like, the first few lyrics in the song just hit so hard. I scraped my knees while I was praying and found a demon in my safest haven. That is exactly what is happening right now, where the belief that you have been living in, that has been keeping you safe, is now become the demon. You know what I mean? And you have to be able to transcend in order to grow into what you truly want. Okay, so Turn It Off. The next song is Careful. We also have Playing God, and then Misguided Ghosts. And then from After Laughter, the main songs that is coming through, Fake Happy. That song, the lyrics, oh, please don't ask me how I've been. Don't make me play pretend. Oh no, what's the use? Oh please, I bet everybody here is fake happy too. Where have you been fake happy? You know? You also have 26. You also have Caught in the Middle. And then another song from that album, I would say Tell Me How would be really meaningful to listen to right now as well, to kind of help you process this shift in belief system and shift of purpose and desire, and aligning with authentic creative expression, passion, you know, heart space desires, needs, and wants. That is the potential of this Sagittarius full moon. It is putting it right in your face, what you want and how you have to change to get that. So it's possible. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but I promise, like, there is massive potential for just having everything that you desire and truly being fulfilled on a heart space level. So, once again, like this if it was meaningful, subscribe to follow for more, share it, check out my Ko-Fi page and possibly donate if this was meaningful, and then also look at the notes for this moon and the image of the spread that I pulled for this as well. So, good luck, you guys. You can do it. Yeah, I'll talk to you next time.